longer from my voicemail.
Are you using
use the SwitcherCom app?
No, I that's an option. I just don't want to have to do that.
Are you using Microsoft Conditional Access?
No, but we'll talk about that afterwards. Let's go ahead and get started for everyone today. What do you guys say? So, hey everyone, I got a question for you. And Vinny's in the other room. Vinny, you'll probably have to mute your microphone while I'm talking really loud. Sorry about that. The question I have for everyone today is, do you feel like you're losing potential money from lost sales with new or existing customers right now? Just regardless, I'm asking you that question, okay? Not you guys, but our audience. Do you feel like you're losing some sales that you'd like to capture, right? Whether new opportunity with existing customers or new customers to begin with, right? And so if you're like most businesses, I can almost guarantee you that the answer is either yes or maybe a little. No one is perfect at capturing all sales. But here's the problem. I should say the goal. The goal is to minimize that potential lost revenue. Okay, we want to maximize revenue, so we have to minimize the lost revenue on sales that we don't get. And so one of the ways to do that is through managing those sales. A lot of people use email to manage their sales activity and their customers. Heck, some of them, I used to use a spreadsheet to manage opportunities. And, yeah, it's not the best, but you're still not maximizing your sales, thereby minimizing your lost sales. And so don't worry about it. Me and the Reboot Crew, we're all here to help you. But before we get started, the Reboot was created to help businesses evaluate various aspects of decisions that they have to make in their own business in the areas of technology, cybersecurity, human resources, productivity, sales, marketing. Today's about sales, right? And so I'm Jim Gass, and I'm with Splicent Consulting out of Cincinnati, and these guys will introduce themselves.
I'm Dave Groot with WinStar Technologies out of Culpeper, Virginia.
Brian Bradshaw from B&L PC Solutions in Long Island in New York.
David Luft with LDD Consulting out of Albuquerque, New Mexico.
I told you, David told you.
Again. Vinny Del Val, that's Jim's fault for telling me to go on mic, from SpliceNet in Cincinnati, Ohio.
And Brandon Bowers as the rebranded EA Managed Technology Services. That's a mouthful. We're out here in South Florida.
Woo-woo! Congratulations there, Brandon. So, guys, the first question I told you guys I'm going to ask, okay? I know we don't all actively use a CRM every single day like we should. Maybe it's not even your job to do sales in your business or to mine your opportunities. But if I were to ask you on the street, I'm thinking about a CRM, okay? Would you say that a CRM is helping you all make money? Go.
Yes.
Definitely creating opportunities.
It's I mean, look, it just means that when somebody raises their hand and wants information from you, but doesn't buy right away, doesn't get lost in the weeds, because that's what happens, right? Like if you don't get something right now, you forget and you move on to the next thing. The CRM picks up the automation of that, and that's what you need.
Right. And the great part about that is customers aren't always looking, but at some point they're probably going to be, and it's just a timing issue. And the CRM keeps you in contact with those people so that hopefully you drop that call or the email just at the point in time when they're frustrated with their current provider, or their current provider has left, or something else has happened. So it's really,
or you do something that their current provider doesn't do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, maybe you do, and we're talking from our perspective, we're all managed service providers, right? But this transcends just our business. I mean, you could be a manufacturer, you could be a hairdresser, you could be a dentist. It doesn't matter, right, guys? I mean, right. Sales are sales. Everybody has to make sales, right? Mm-hmm. Now, go ahead, Dave. You were going to say something. It sounded like real quick.
No, something popped in my head, but I'll let you go because I don't want to get squirreled on that tangent.
I appreciate that. So have you ever encountered, any of you, a vendor, right? We deal with vendors all day long, just like we're a vendor to somebody else, and all your businesses are generally vendors to somebody else. Have you guys ever dealt with a vendor where you put a call out there, okay? You ask for something, and they essentially what seems to be ghost you, right?
Mhm.
They just don't get back to you. Anybody dealing with one of those right now?
Absolutely.
Happens all the time.
Well, I mean, you got to look at it. When you don't have a CRM, where do your leads go to? They probably go to email, maybe someplace, and then you got to remember to do something about it. And if you've got a group of people that need to do something about it, who is actually doing it? Did somebody do it? You have no idea.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say that they haven't ghosted you. I say that, Brandon, you're on the right track. Somebody got it in their email, and guess what?
They were out
their
of the
job,
office. They were on vacation, you know?
right,
Fell
right,
through the
and
cracks.
nobody sees it. And guess when they come back to their email, now they've got hundreds of emails, and your email that was up here is now down off their screen, and they've forgotten about it.
Well, it's no
Until a
different
week
than
later.
when a client or customer doesn't follow your process for support. They go outside the box and they do it a different way, and then they call you 2 days later. Whatever happened with this, and we don't even know about it. What'd you do?
Right,
They didn't
right.
call it in. They didn't open a support ticket. Like they didn't. It's things like that that a CRM will keep track of and keep you on track, as well as your customer and or prospect or lead.
You got it. You got it. David, I want to hear what you had to say. I'm just dying to hear that.
Well, I mean, I'm just, we were talking about the fact that, we're managed service providers and certainly staying in touch. But like, I mean, on every level, I mean, like spas, hairstyle, like all of these businesses, every last one of them needs to have a consistent stream of client acquisition and revenue, and so the CRM is basically the tool that's going to allow you to implement contact to all these folks at the right time with the right message based on what it is you're trying to accomplish.
You got it. If you're not growing, you're
dying.
Dying.
That's
And the
it.
great thing about the CRM we use is that it automates a lot of the process so that as customers respond, it'll follow a certain flow chart and send other emails out. And so while it's automated, we still created that flow, and then people are in contact. That helps reduce the amount of labor you spend on things that are repetitive. And then you can really focus on the things that the people can add value to.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is, obviously it depends on the CRM you're using, but the more that you can lock in and automate whatever that process is, the more that process is always going to be followed. So whatever you as the business owner knows is the best way to sell your service or to follow up for your service or whatever that is, as you hire people, you want them to follow your process, right? You want them to do it your way. And the more they do that, you'll know they'll be successful. And a CRM actually helps with that because you can build that process flow in to I want to say give them the training wheels so they kind of have that helping them follow what they need to be doing.
It's the lanes. That's what you're talking
Okay,
about.
the bumper lanes.
That's
The
right.
lanes.
That's what you're saying. Yep.
This is our system. You're right. You're right. Consistency is king. The more you can make things consistent, the better, and the better service. A restaurant at McDonald's, they've basically built themselves on consistency and consistency in process on top of that. So the process and the product, right? So guys, I'll start off with this. I am using right now Keep, which is formerly Infusionsoft, okay, as our CRM. I have used Dynamics. I have used Act many moons ago, and I did use spreadsheets, okay? And I will tell you that if I want to know and forecast, which any good business should do, the lifeblood of your company is you're not necessarily just what you have, but what you're going to earn as business, right? And so I can look at and forecast my opportunities based on our Infusionsoft, or I should say, I hate to say that, it's hard to change the name. It's called Keep. It works great for me. What are you guys using? I know some of you guys are using the same thing.
Yeah, that's what we use here too.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. What have you used? Go ahead, David. Sorry.
No, same for us. We use the same thing.
We use the same thing, but I want to make mention. So, I mean, a lot of companies have a system in place that they use to manage their existing customers. And I feel like that's always a good starting point if you can leverage it. So, I mean, for us, we've got like a system that's for ticketing and billing and all kinds of other functions. And it has, I'll call it a CRM light type of functionality. So in the beginning, when we were just getting started with the process, that's what we leveraged. So we still had a system. It wasn't to the ability where we could do all the automation that an Infusionsoft or trying to think of Sugar CRM, some of
Oh
those
yeah,
other big ones that are out there.
Zoho,
Yeah, Zoho. But it doesn't mean that you have to immediately go to one of those. You know, it really depends on your need.
Right.
Yeah. What else have you guys used?
Anybody using Salesforce or any of that kind of stuff?
Ooh, that's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a big one. You know,
I was using Excel spreadsheets for the longest time, just a shared one that
We still
better to
do.
stay organized in some form or fashion than just let it live in email, right?
Yeah.
You know, at least you know what I did in my spreadsheet, and I think these are crucial when you start to use a CRM. Who am I dealing with? What company is it? What's their contact information, email, and telephone number? What are they looking at? And what's my next action?
Yeah.
You know, that last one, most important. And when is that supposed to be? Right. That's what I use Keep for right now when it comes to my opportunities. What's my next action, and when am I supposed to hit that?
I would venture to say that even folks who are using CRM programs of one level or another today are not fully utilizing the automation capabilities of what's going on in there. Because I mean, you know, everything we're talking about is great, but power of the CRM is the ability to like run a query against the list of people that are current customers and the list of your services and see where they're not having those services and resell into somebody you already have a relationship with, as opposed to trying to acquire a new customer.
Yeah.
I mean, that in and of itself pays for the CRM.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm a hairdresser, okay, and a customer hasn't come in for 6 months,
You want to know about that.
Yeah. My barber calls me every 2 weeks. He's like, "Where you been, Brian?" And I'm like,
"Yeah, right."
You know, it's
You're having a problem. Your beard's fine.
Give me another 12 months. Give me another 12 months.
You gotta get the ears trimmed in. Yeah, I get it. We get it. No, seriously though, shouldn't it have one? Hey, this person hasn't been here. Okay, and shouldn't you care about that? Right? I don't care if you're like I said. It doesn't matter what industry you're in.
Any trade.
It doesn't matter. Mechanic, a dentist, they haven't been in for cleaning. And that system then not only should let you know about it, but wouldn't it be great if it just automatically said, "Hey, where you been? You know, want to set up an appointment?" I get text messages from our veterinarian's office all the time. And that's why I go there.
Probably with a link to schedule it too, so you don't even need to call to do it.
That's a big part of the CRM too. Is what David Groot was just saying was the automation that you know someone can you know at the bottom of my signature is click for a 15-minute call for anything, and they click on that. It goes on my calendar. It automates the process, the reminders. If they want to cancel it, I do nothing, and they get all this interaction and dialogue that's not even initiated by me. It's all automated, but it's awesome.
Now, you know, one of the things that Vinny and I have been working on is the automation with existing customers. And so that existing customer, we're a professional services organization, many just like you guys, right? But if I was a CPA, okay, and I had on repetitive customers, that automation to say, hey, you know, we're supposed to want to get together every quarter, every 6 months or something like that. And Vinny and I have worked really hard. It's, you know, that how do you say that? Vinny, what's your challenge with the automation in something like that?
So one of my challenges is in some ways, one is I want to make sure that when the email goes out that it sounds like me, right? Because I'm talking to these customers all the time. And so I wanted to have the same language that I would use.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, sometimes I get into not really a conflict, but the automation goes out, but I had just talked to the person yesterday, right?
Right.
And
that's
so they send me a confused email saying, "Hey, what's going on?" Right. So fine tuning that a little bit to or talking to customers and saying, hey, you're going to get these emails or whatever it is. The automation is great. I think it takes that burden off me to have to chase people down or send reminders and do all of this. It does it all for me, right? It just has to, for me as a inside person dealing with customers every day, our existing customers are not chasing sales, right? Those are my challenges sometimes, and making sure that our customers know that yes, this is Vinny, and not some weird email that I'm getting from somewhere else.
I'll tack on to that for a second, because language is important. Also, formatting like your general emails so they don't look like spam, coming to them like every other email. Yep. That's had a huge benefit for us in terms of actually getting customers to like click the links or respond to it, or oh hey, yeah, we just spoke, and they thought it was you that sent it, right? Because the language and everything was kind of tuned already, so that, they didn't realize. So that's good.
I
get a lot of I'm sorry, Jim.
No, go ahead, Vinny.
I get a lot of comments back sometimes saying, is this legit? Like, is this real? Can I click on this link?
Well, yeah, we spend most of our day telling our customers not to click on links in email. Right. And then now you're sending them an email saying, hey, book an appointment with me. What's that supposed to mean? I mean,
I'm honest with our customers and opportunities. Hey,
how dare you?
Surprised if we get a bunch of automated emails from you. That's so we don't miss anything. And people appreciate that, right?
Sure.
Because I lost opportunity a bunch of years ago from someone had said to me, you're trying to get me as a customer, but if your operations processes are as bad as your sales processes, why would I ever want to be your customer? Right? That's exactly what the person said. They became a customer, and we later parted company because we were great operations, but we didn't fit, which is kind of sad. But no, I mean, it really, that tickler system that you have for yourself, that tickler system for your prospect or customer, shows the kind of company that you are, and shows that you're working hard to do the best that you can do for them.
Yeah, so we definitely target when we're doing a campaign, whether it be a VoIP campaign or whatever we're trying to push out that month, that quarter. We tailor our drip campaigns, our email campaigns to our prospects to mimic what we sent out. So there's at least some recognition between a piece of mail that they just got and are holding and that email coming in. They see it could be the same theme, colors, logos, whatever it is. You keep that going, and you just constantly do it. And that's where, for us, that's the driving force for opportunities. And that should work for any business, that consistency. And it does, it doesn't cost me any more to send out 5,000 emails as opposed to 3,000, so you're paying for the service anyway. Yeah. So as long as it's, like we were saying earlier, neat, tailored, and matches your company, the way your company is formatted, your website, all that stuff, you have that consistency throughout. There's going to be that recognition when they need that service or when they want more information.
Yeah.
Make sure your landing pages all tie up, and link.
This went to a place that I didn't expect it to go. CRM to impress a potential customer or prospect, right? I mean, let's face it, if it does what it's supposed to do, I wouldn't say that automation should be where you jump in, guys. I would never say that to somebody. Our customers, I always recommend, let's just start by tracking some information, because it's garbage in, garbage out. We have a manufacturing company right now looking at a CRM. And I said, well, for what? And I said, for new customers. Well, we don't get that many new customers, but for existing opportunities, right? Track that, maximize that, then start your automation is what I'd recommend. Would you guys agree? Anybody have another perspective on it?
I mean, you need to test it.
Yeah.
Regardless of what stage you put it in play.
And, many of the systems that are out there that are used by other industries, and we talked about dentists and manufacturing and hairstylists and mechanics and so on and so forth. Many of the softwares, those line of business applications that they're using, have CRM functionality built into them. So they don't even have to go outside of those programs, right?
Well, it's like what David said, really. You need to make sure you're trained in those systems so that, and if it's not you, somebody on your team that knows how to use it and gets it tailored and configured for your business.
one thing I think we would all agree: email is the worst place to manage your sales opportunities. Would you all agree to that?
You
Somebody's
mean
got it.
you're talking like an Outlook or something?
Yeah.
Is that, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, and that's
yeah.
It's the worst.
Definitely one of the worst.
And when you get multiple people, it becomes an exponentially worse problem.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
You
It
know?
really depends on the size of your business, though. As you get bigger, it just becomes overwhelming in email. But if you're just starting, at least you're using something.
You know,
I think a
if that's your
spreadsheet.
only job, if that's your only job as a salesperson, you know, and you're the only salesperson, you could probably live with it for a little while, but you're still not maximizing your opportunities, I'd contend.
No.
And you're really not getting any reporting or, what's coming in the future. What should we expect? Growth. I mean, you're not getting any of that.
And you're not. I don't think you're even getting. Well, if we want to send a something out to accounting firms in during tax season, we want to target those 2,500 contacts that we have. We go into our CRM. We hit those tagged people and we market to them. It's very simple. I don't know that there's another. You can do that in Outlook or using
No.
if you're not using a CRM. It's
You've
not
got
easy.
no list in Outlook.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you could maybe manually track it in 6 different places, like the task and the but
It's not
But
going
as
to
you
work.
get started, you just have to get the foundational pieces together of how you're going to market your business, and then you just keep bumping up to the next better product.
I would almost say that there's enough. I would challenge any business owner who is starting out and doesn't have money to buy a big CRM package or even a staff to run it, still there's free open source stuff out there that, like, instead of just using your Outlook or using your web-based email or whatever that might be, go find some CRM online. And I don't even, you guys, if you want to throw names out there, that's fine. I don't have a preference.
First 3 users for free.
There you go. So, I mean,
The other thing to consider there, though, even before you go to a free solution, like, what is the cost of that last opportunity? If you just had a CRM that maybe was $300 or $400 a month, let's just say it was $400 a month. Like, what is that actually really saving you, though? And is it helping you with net new leads? Are you gaining business from it? And if you are, it's paying for itself. That's what a lot of us, when we're starting out, we're thinking about, the nickels and dimes, trying to save money here and there, and we're not really looking at the big picture on, this is actually an investment in the business and this is going to help me grow, versus let me save an extra couple $100 a month, which it ends up really costing you more than that.
Really does. Trying to skimp can cost you more.
I would say you're absolutely correct about everything there, with the one caveat that they still have to do the work.
Yes.
Just getting the CRM
That's true.
is not enough. You know what I mean?
I'm working with an organization right now that apologize for moving slow. Okay. And we just move slow on things. You know what? A CRM is going to make you money, get you more organized. You cannot afford to just, I need to overanalyze it. I would almost say make a decision and go.
And a lot of people take
Brandon's right.
6 months to close a deal, a year to close a deal. I'm not manually following up with that. I mean, you could do that. You could try to flag stuff, but you have that CRM in there, just pinging them every so often with key information. That's how you're going to close that deal. It's not going to be because you're reminded. You put a reminder in Outlook to call them. It's
right.
Yeah, but Brian, I mean, in 6 months, you've forgotten about the opportunity because they're not closing, and you've got to work with what's hot,
what's in front of us. Is hot. Exactly.
You're going to run into a dry spell, and you're going to look back and you're going to say, "Who didn't close?"
Right. And then it's too late, and then it's And you've got that opportunity that you can draw upon, and you can see everything you've done, all the notes you made, all the phone calls, and you could hit them up and say, "Hey," versus it's in your email and it's lost forever. Yep.
Agreed. I said this, and let's end on this, and we'll all almost positively agree on this. I said in the post for this show today, that which is measured improves. That which is measured and reported improves exponentially. We know where they came from. We know where we've heard that. These guys, that is what a CRM will do for you. It will help you improve that sales number that is oh so important to all of us. Any final words, guys?
Jump in.
That's it. I was thinking the same thing.
I was going to say that, take one piece at a time. The CRMs have a lot of different functionality. I think the guys mentioned it several times. Implement one piece at a time, get good at it, and then go to the next. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's not overwhelming. It's not too big for you.
Yeah, it can be.
And you can have success.
Yeah. You're right. Little bits at a time. It's a big change if you're not using it already. Thanks a lot, guys. Great show. As always, if you're in the audience, you have any follow-on questions, put them in the comments. And make sure that you like and share our videos. Plus, we've got the YouTube. Soon we'll be on every podcast platform available. Well, that's an overstatement, but the most popular podcast platforms, we're working on those right now. And again, we are on every week. We don't have our topic for next week, although we're toying with one. It might be COVID related, about the COVID and vendors in the workplace. And so, as always, starting this week, we're every week now, Wednesdays Eastern time at 1:30. So, guys, thanks a lot.
Thanks,
All
Jim.
right. Y'all have a
Take
great
care,
day.
everyone.
Have a good one.